My parents gave my room to my stepsister, but she smashed a wall and ended up paralyzed. Now I'm living my best life, knowing they can't do anything. My stepsister stole my bedroom, not metaphorically, not emotionally, physically. My parents handed her the room I grew up in, the one with the window seat my dad built when I was 8, and I said nothing. I just smiled, moved into the garage, and 3 months later, she smashed a wall trying to outdo me. The ceiling collapsed, and everything changed. If you've ever been pushed aside, underestimated, or told to just be the bigger person, this story is for you. Hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready for one of the most twisted karma stories you'll hear today. When my dad remarried, I told myself I would be mature about it. Victoria and her mom moved in during the middle of summer. Victoria was my age, same grade, same school, same hallways. From day one, it felt like I was being quietly erased. She walked through the house like she was evaluating property, tapping walls, opening closets, asking my dad where her room would be. I remember the exact moment everything shifted. We were standing in my doorway. Victoria ran her fingers across my bookshelf and said, "This room has the best lighting." My stepmom looked at my dad. My dad avoided my eyes. That night, they sat me down at the kitchen table like it was a business meeting. It would mean a lot to Victoria if she could have the bigger room, my stepmom said gently. My dad added, "You're more adaptable." More adaptable. Translation, you'll take the hit quietly. I felt heat crawl up my neck. My chest tightened like someone was pressing a fist against my ribs. I wanted to scream. Instead, I said, "Fine." They offered me the garage. The garage. Concrete floors, spider webs, oil stains. Victoria tried to look sympathetic. She failed. Here's the thing about humiliation. It can crush you, or it can fuel you. I chose fuel. I spent every dollar from my part-time job at a local cafe. I painted the walls myself, installed insulation, laid laminate flooring with YouTube tutorials playing in the background, hung fairy lights across the ceiling beams. I built something from nothing. The first night I slept in there, it didn't feel like exile. It felt like independence. When my friends came over for the first time, their reactions were priceless. "Wait, this is your room? This is cooler than the whole house. Can you design my apartment someday?" They took pictures, posted them, tagged me, and suddenly, Victoria wasn't the new interesting girl. I was. That's when the jealousy started. It began small. She started redecorating. New bedding, new paint, expensive wall art. She'd linger outside my garage room when friends were over. Once, I overheard her say, "It's just a garage," but her voice wavered. Then she got bold. "I'm thinking of expanding my room," she announced at dinner one night. "Expanding how?" my dad asked. "There's a guest room next to mine. We barely use it. I could knock down the wall and make it a suite." I froze mid-bite. Knock down a wall? My dad laughed like she told a joke. She didn't laugh back. Over the next few weeks, she became secretive. Packages arrived. Tools disappeared from the shed. I noticed drywall dust on her sleeves one morning. I had a bad feeling, but I kept telling myself, it's not my problem anymore. I was in my garage room editing photos when I heard it. A sharp crack, then another, then a sound I will never forget. A deep, violent roar of something structural giving up. The entire house shook. There was screaming. I ran inside barefoot. The hallway was filled with dust so thick it burned my throat. Victoria's room, or what used to be her room, was half gone. The ceiling had collapsed inward, wood beams splintered, insulation hanging like torn clouds, and under it, Victoria, pinned, crying, screaming. My stepmom dropped to her knees. My dad kept shouting her name like that alone could reverse gravity. The ambulance lights painted the house red and blue. I stood there shaking, drywall dust clinging to my skin, thinking, this didn't have to happen. The hospital confirmed it 2 days later. Spinal cord damage. Permanent paralysis from the waist down. Everything after that blurred into forms, insurance calls, whispered arguments behind closed doors. Then the truth came out. The investigation revealed she'd been planning it for weeks. She'd used her mom's credit card to buy a sledgehammer, stud finder, even online DIY renovation guides. She never applied for permits, never consulted anyone. She just started smashing. Insurance denied the claim. Unpermitted structural demolition. My stepmom screamed at the adjuster over speakerphone. My dad sat silent, staring at the floor. The house repairs alone nearly drained their savings. And through all of it, Victoria blamed me. From her hospital bed, she said it. If she hadn't tried to show off with that stupid garage room, I wouldn't have had to compete. I felt like I'd been slapped. Compete? No one asked her to compete. She took my room. I built mine. That was it. For a while, I carried guilt like a backpack full of bricks. Maybe I shouldn't have made my space so impressive. Maybe I should have told someone about the tools. Maybe. But one night, my dad knocked on my garage door. He looked older, tired in a way I'd never seen. She made her own choices, he said quietly. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. But it was the first time someone acknowledged that I wasn't the villain in this story. And something inside me loosened. Here's the part no one expects. I didn't get revenge by doing something cruel. I got revenge by thriving. I applied to an interior design program using photos of my garage transformation in my portfolio. I got accepted. Partial scholarship. My friends kept hyping my work online. A local boutique asked if I'd consult on redesigning their space. Meanwhile, the house was under construction. Medical equipment filled the living room. Tension hung in the air like humidity before a storm. Victoria stayed bitter. Every time I left for campus visits or design gigs, she'd stare at me like I'd stolen something from her. But I hadn't. She tried to tear down a wall to feel bigger. I built something instead. That was the difference. The real moment of closure happened the day I officially moved out. I loaded the last box into my car. My garage, my exile-turned-sanctuary, was empty again. Victoria watched from the doorway in her wheelchair. "You think you won," she said quietly. I paused. The old me would have argued, defended myself, explained. Instead, I just said, "I never competed with you." And I meant it. Her face tightened. Not rage, not exactly. Realization. For the first time, she understood. This wasn't karma I orchestrated. It was consequences she created. And I walked away, not triumphant, not laughing, just free. Sometimes revenge isn't about destruction. It's about refusing to shrink. It's about building something so strong that other people's jealousy collapses under its own weight. I didn't ruin her life. She did. I just built mine. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button and drop a comment below. Was this karma or just consequences? And if you love emotionally satisfying revenge stories like this, make sure you subscribe. We post new stories every week. Trust me, you don't want to miss the next one.